Last time we talked about Y as a vowel. So Y is a vowel if it's not the first letter. The only time it's a consonant is if it's the first letter of the word, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But as a review from last time, if Y is at the end of a tiny little small word, only one vowel, only one syllable, then that Y will say I, as in why, try, fly, cry, buy. But if Y is at the end of a longer word, more than one vowel separated, more than one syllable, then that Y will usually say E, happy, candy, trendy, silly. Y can sometimes say I at the end of multisyllable words, but usually it will say E. So let me go over these extra practice from last time. So this C is going to make its soft sound because the next letter is an E, I, or Y. So this C will say sifty, sifty. I have a question here real quick. How do you tell the difference of PH and an F, or if a word has two letter T's in it or one? Well, let me address that first question real quick. So how do you tell the difference of a PH or an F? For reading, there is no difference. A PH and an F will say the same thing. They'll both say the sound. Okay, number 2, bly. Number 3 is clisimpy. Clisimpy. Number 4 is try. So see on 2 and 4 and 6 and 9. One syllable words, the Y says I. On the other words, the Y is going to say E because it's at the end of a longer word. So when you're reading an unknown word, if there's a Y at the end, if it's long, go for the E sound. It's going to be correct most often. Number 5 is dry mishy. Dry mishy. Number 6 is bry. 7 is try-nis Timmy. Try-nis Timmy. 8 is plissim trippy. Number 9 is tie. And number 10 is flim picky. Now, those words, if you are new, if today was your first time, I'm not sure if it is for anybody, I think it is actually, then those might seem like, holy smokes, those are so hard. I thought I was in a beginner class. Don't you worry. You will be able to read words like that by the end of today's class. We will teach you how. All right, let's go over to today's lesson. Okay, so we're going to start with our initial Y lesson warm-up. So count how many sounds are phonemic awareness warm-up. Count how many sounds are in goat. Goat. Put it in the chat if you know how many sounds are in goat. So be careful that you don't think about the letters. You probably know how to spell goat. Put the letters out of your brain. We're not worried about the letters. We just want the sounds. There's a hint. There's not as many sounds as there are letters in goat. Yes, there's 3 letters in goat. 3 sounds, excuse me. G, O, T. The OA is a grapheme. It makes one sound. So there's 3 sounds in goat. G, very quick sound. G. The O is a sustained sound. You can hold on to it. O, and the T is also very quick. T. You can spit out your T. If you are reading a word and you want to have really clear, clean pronunciation of the words, and you come to a word with a T on the end, spit it out. Spit that T out at the end. Like, she had very good eyesight. Instead of eyesight, she had very good eyesight. Or, would you please go water that plant? If you're reading, you might not talk so much like that, but if you're reading and you want to have really good enunciation of the sounds, spit those T's out at the end and you will sound like a stellar reader. So this next one, dragon, has a schwa sound at the end. Schwa sounds, when they often come almost to the end, and they're really difficult to hear. They're kind of disappearing sounds. They're just kind of a bridge or a connecting sound from one consonant to the other. In this case, it's the O changes into a schwa sound in dragon. So make sure that you don't let it disappear. Bring it back in, let it have its own sound and count it. How many sounds in dragon? Put it in the chat. Take your time. So here's a couple things that are going to be tricky about that. Der is going to be tempting to be one sound. Make sure you separate the d from the Good. And then make sure that you get that schwa sound in there. So for dragon, the sounds are d, a, g, There's that So there's 6 sounds. D, a, g, dragon. 6 sounds. Okay, how about golf? Golf. How many sounds? Just to make you feel better, only one person got all the sounds correct in dragon. That one's a hard one, so don't feel bad if that was tough. That one's a hard one. How many sounds in golf? So golf has g, a, o, f, 4 sounds. So let me tell you a bonus fact. And I've mentioned this before, but I really, especially if you're new, you need to know that when you are making any error in reading or in spelling, it is almost always going to be due to one of 3 letters, an R, an L, or an N. Those letters, they want to leave, they want to come in, and they want to get switched around. So when you're spelling golf, you might be tempted to spell it G-L-O-F, just because that L is so hard. I just had 3 classes in a row where all of the students were really struggling with all 3 of those sounds. We were reading real words, but the L, N, and R kept coming in, kept leaving, and kept transposing themselves within the word. It's tricky for every struggling reader, those 3 sounds. So what we did was we focused on just that sound in that word, and we were the boss of it. That L was not going to be the boss of us. We were going to be the boss of that L, get it in the right spot, say it in the right order. So when you're saying the sounds in golf, make sure that you grab that O and put it in the right spot, just for practice. So there are 4 sounds in golf: G, A, O, F. See how we did on that one. S. And half. About half and half. Those are tricky. Don't worry, that's why we do them. Because eventually, after months and months and months, you're going to get better at phonemic awareness. And when you get better at phonemic awareness, you're going to get better at reading and at spelling. And you will be able to help others because you'll have come so far. Okay, so our new reading rule is Y at the beginning is a consonant. Okay, I'm smiling because I currently have a viral Instagram post where I am saying we'll learn reading anyway, where I'm saying the correct sounds of the alphabet, and there are about 2 or 3 really controversial sounds. And boy, it's viral because everybody is just chiming in on those 3 sounds because they are so controversial. R is one of them, and Y is one of them as a consonant. But the purest sound that a Y can make is your mouth is going to go more sideways than up and down. So instead of going yeah with your jaw dropping, that adds a little bit more on the end. Try having your mouth go more sideways with your mouth into more of a smile, kind of a yeah. It's kind of like a I don't even want to say there's a eh sound after it because we want to get all the sounds off of it as we possibly can. And just force out the y, just the beginning sound of that Y. So you're muted. Go ahead and practice having your mouth kind of into a smile shape and just that initial sound of the pure sound of Y. Y, y, y. Okay? That's the sound of the pure sound of Y. And that's the only time it's a consonant. Any other time it's Y is in a word, it's a vowel. So number 1, let's go ahead and mark this. Get my pen ready, and actually I'm going to stretch this out. So I am going to mark the vowels. There is, circle the vowels, I mean. There's an I right there, and here's a vowel. Interesting that this Y is a consonant here and a vowel here. But now you know the reasons why. If Y is anywhere other than the first spot, it's a vowel. Otherwise, it's not. So I'm going to tap 2 on this first I. I see that there's 2 consonants after it. If that happens, it makes it short sound. Y at the end of a multi-syllable word will usually make the long E sound. So when I pencil read this word, it's ya, I, d, e, yiddy, yiddy, yiddy. Okay, try yours over here. Go ahead and mark your vowels. Good. When we pencil read it, it's y, I, t, e, yitty, yitty. When you're speaking a word, Deandra, this might help with your 2 T's question a little bit, but when you're speaking a word with 2 T's in the middle, those 2 T's are going to sound more like D's. When you're talking, you would say yitty, right? What's another word with 2 T's in it? Ladder. No, that has 2 D's in it. What's the word with 2 T's in it? Put it in the chat if you know one. Little. Yeah, we say little. It sounds more like a D when you're speaking, and that's fine. It's not improper. Bottle. There's another one. Thank you, Rochelle and Ben. When you are reading and you want to sound perfect and proper, you're going to want to have that T make its correct sound. Little. Look at the little boy. Or put the bottle in the fridge. Okay? So the T's, it's not incorrect to say the D sound when you're speaking. Settle. Yeah. If you wanted to say it correctly, you would say settle and not settle. Okay. So number 2, I'm going to circle my vowel. I know it is. Look at that. Have you ever seen a word like that before? Why? Isn't that fun? So here is a consonant and a vowel. This I is at the end of a 1-syllable word, so it's going to say I. This Y is going to say yeah. So this word says yai. That was the funnest word I've ever read, I think. Yai. Let's come over to yours on number 2. Go ahead and mark it and try to say it. When we pencil read this word, it's y, I, sh, t, e, yishti, yishti, yishti. Not easy to say, but that is a really good word for practicing your short I sound. Remember, when we make our short I sound, your mouth has to be wide like a smile and your teeth open just enough to fit a piece of paper through. I. And your mouth is already that shape when it made that Y before it. So this is a really good word to practice this short I sound. Yishti, Yishti, because that I sound will come out naturally and be properly pronounced. Okay, let me come on down to my okay. So let me circle the vowel. There's only one in this word. It has a double consonant after it. So you know that the CH is a digraph. Two letters that make one sound. It's its own grapheme. A grapheme is a letter that makes a sound or a set of letters that makes one sound. So even though it's one unit, that CH is a unit, it can still also be counted as the two consonants needed to make that vowel before it makes its short sound. A vowel will always make its short sound if there are two consonants after it. So this word is y, ich, yitch, yitch. So all of these words, just as a FYI, they're going to have a I right after the Y. So it's really good practice to make that short I sound correctly. A lot of people struggle between the short I sound and the short E sound. A lot of people confuse the I and the eh. One, your mouth is open just barely. One, your mouth is open medium width. I, eh, I, eh. So this is a really good lesson to practice that I sound because your mouth is already in that shape when it makes that initial Y sound. Where were we? Did I say yitch and now it's your turn for your number 3? Okay, go ahead and mark your number 3. So here's another example of a digraph that makes one sound, but it also counts as the two consonants needed to make that vowel short. So when I pencil read it, it's y, I, f. Tongue between your teeth on that sound. No sound, only air. So it's yes, yes, yes. How are you doing? Please put in the chat. Am I going too fast, too slow? Are you doing okay, or is this hard? Thank you for the feedback. Good. Blair, I love to hear that. Welcome, Timmy. Good. Okay. Look at number 4. Isn't this one fun? I'm going to stretch out my paper. Oh, you get an even funner one. I want to do yours. Stretch this out a little more. All right, so I'm going to mark mine. Feel free to follow along with me and see if you come up with the same word. So here we have a vowel. Here we have a vowel. And here we have a vowel. Y at the end of a longer word is almost always going to say E. I already know that reading hack. That gets in long E mark. Here is a vowel with two consonants after it, meaning it is going to make its short sound I. Here is a vowel with two consonants after it. It is also going to make it short sound I. So I'm going to pencil read this word, and I'm going to just do the sounds. When you go to blend a word like this, don't worry about reading it initially. Just the first step is just to tell your brain that you know every sound in that word. Don't worry about reading it. Just tell your brain that you know every sound, and then we'll work on reading it. So brain, listen to this. I know all these sounds. We have y, I, sh, I, p, t, e. Now I'm going to blend it one letter at a time because it's long. Y, yish, yishe, yishim, yishimp, yishimpt, yishimpter, yishimptry, yishimptry, yishimptry. Tough one. Yours is going to be hard too, but Hard is fun. Go for it. Push pause for just a second. I hate to interrupt you, but I want you to look at this R and be the boss of it. Okay, go for it. Okay, when we pencil read it, it's yeah, I, I, p, t, e. One letter at a time. Yeah, yes, yether, yethre, yethrim, yethrimp, yethrimpt, yethrimpty, yethrimpty. How did you do? Let me know in the chat. Yethrimpty, yethrimpty. How did you do? Somebody says, I was about to get it. Did I ruin it for you? Did I say it too soon? Sorry about that, Con. Hopefully I wasn't too fast on that one. Well, if you did so on that one, then that is, I'd say that's a solid B. Oh, you got it. Okay, good. All right. Nice. Because that one's hard. That one was not an is. Do you remember I said at the beginning of this lesson, if you're looking at these hard words and they look like mind-blowing, don't worry. I'll give you the tools to figure those out. Yes, the TH and the R right next to each other are hard. That R is going to be the hardest letter to read in a word with an R in it. They just are. Like this one too. Yeshimtry. It'd be a lot easier if it was just Yeshimty, but that R makes it hard. So when you were reading an unknown word, tell your brain to pay special attention to the R, L, and N. Make sure they stay in their spot and you grab them and you don't let them go away. And then your reading skills will improve. Okay, let's go down to that was well done, you guys. Nice. Go down to your extra practice. What word do you want me to do with you before I let you go? Put it in the chat. Okay, I'm getting some number 9s. Lots of 9s. Let's do it. Okay. Lots of 9s. All right. So we know that this I is going to make the I sound because there's 2 consonants after it. This I is going to make the I sound because there's, wait a minute, April. I went ahead. Look at that. There is another vowel 2 doors down. So that I is going to make its long sound. I. The tap 2 rule, when you come to a vowel, tap the next 2 letters. If either one of them is another vowel, then the vowel that you are on is going to make its long sound. I. Okay, I'm kind of nervous on this one. And then here is the short I sound because there are 2 consonants after it. And don't forget this guy over here, he's going to make the long E sound. Okay, so we have brain, listen up. Yeah, I, p, o, I, I, k, e. Yim, yimp, yimple, yimply, yimplime, yimplime, yimplimic, yimplimicky, yimplimicky. Why did I create a word like that? Yimplimicky. Well, if you can read that, you can read anything. Any others that you want me to go over here? So I am working from home today. Can you hear my grandkids being 3 and 1? Because I'm in California and we are in some sort of crazy bomb cyclone right now, and I don't dare drive out there because it's nuts. So I'm working from home today. So sorry if you hear some homey background noises. Okay, let's try number 8. So this one is going to be an I because of those 2 consonants. This one's an I because of those 2 consonants. There's a tricky R. I'm going to pay special attention to that. And here is a long E sound at the end. So we have Y, I, S, I, P, T, E. Careful of this TR that it doesn't turn into a chur, which it often does when we're speaking. But when you're reading, you want to make sure that they each get their own sound. Tur. Okay, so we have yisim. Get that P, April. Yisimptree. 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 Whew. Okay, if you are reading these words, you are some kind of brilliant. Some kind of smart. I am teaching an advanced beginner course. This lesson is beginner only because I'm teaching you the very, very foundational shape of your mouth sounds and what the pure letters are and how to actually blend an unknown word and what the rules are. That's all foundational. But the advanced part is I'm counting on your intellect. You're adults, you can do hard things. So I am throwing in hard words and you are measuring up. You are reading hard words. And I hope it's as fun for you as it is for me to watch you guys say, yeah, I got it in the chat. You are amazing and heroic. I have a few minutes. If you want to stay after and ask me some questions, feel free to unmute